What's up guys? Yesterday I got a question on if I have any tips for home workouts, and I do, so I'm gonna make a video on home workout tips that I have. So let's get right into it. First of all, home workouts aren't necessarily gonna be bad. A lot of people that do home workouts are inexperienced, so they usually end up doing horrible workouts. But if you actually apply some knowledge that someone that goes to the gym would have, home workouts can be very effective. There's pretty much, you could solve all the issues that home workouts have, or at least 99% of them. So first of all, uh, one issue with home workouts is that you can't go heavy oftentimes. So let's say for your chest, you want to do some push-ups. After a while, your muscles get stronger and bigger, and you won't be able to do push-ups anymore because they just become too easy. And if an exercise is too easy, it becomes less and less effective as you get stronger and stronger, which is why you apply progressive overload in the gym, of course. So there's a few things you can do to make sure that you can actually progressively overload. First of all, is gonna be to make exercises easier. So you could start off with wall push-ups, which are very easy, and then as you get stronger, you could progress to knee push-ups, which are a bit harder, then regular push-ups, and then after that, you wouldn't be able to go heavier, of course. So what I would do is or a good tip I have is to use a backpack and add weights into the backpack, which can literally just be a few books or maybe an extra book every workout, and you could put it on your back. It would be able to, you can do that for pull-ups, push-ups, and a lot of other exercises. And this also applies for, let's say, a bicep curl. So if you don't have any weights or don't have any heavy weights, but you do want to train your biceps well, you could just hold on to a bag and just keep putting more and more things in that bag as you get stronger over time. So that way you can maintain the exercise, can maintain challenging. So you could apply that to literally almost every single exercise, using a bag to add stuff to it, or adding a backpack to yourself with more and more stuff in it. Another issue, or well, I also have the solution, of course, but an issue with at-home workouts is going to be back training, because when you're in the gym, you're doing a lat pull down, you're doing a pull up, but at home, oftentimes you can't do a pull up, so you would need to get a pull up bar. A pull up bar is let's say around $30. It's gonna be the most useful accessory you're gonna get, because it would be very hard to train your back without a pull-up bar, since there's no real back exercises you can do, or not any common or easy ones at least. You could make your training a lot more complicated, but if you're new to the gym and you want to do some home workouts, I would get a pull-up bar so that you can actually train your back. Another issue is going to be hamstring training. Well, there's more, but the next issue is going to be hamstring training. So for your hamstrings, you should be doing knee flexion at least, or hip extension, which would be which you would have in a deadlift variant. But since you can't go heavy on deadlifts usually, unless you have like a very heavy barbell at home with lots of weights, which I'm assuming you don't, it's going to be very hard to train your hamstrings, at least if you're not a beginner or if you want to be able to train at home for a long period of time. So what I would actually do in this case is going to be an isometric, which isotonic is the opposite, which means moving, and an isometric means it doesn't move. So let's say you want to train your biceps isometrically, you would have a lot of resistance in your hand. So let's say you try to lift up a very heavy table, and you pull as hard as you can, you use your biceps as much as you can. It's not gonna move, but it's still gonna challenge your biceps a lot. Isometrics can actually be very, very effective. They do have a lot of mechanical tension, which is going to grow your muscles, and they have a lot of motor unit recruitment, which is also needed to grow a lot of muscle. So isometrics are, if done well, they're similar to normal exercises or normal training in terms of muscle growth. So isometrics are going to be your best friend pretty much if you're training at home. So as I said, for your hamstrings, what you could do is sit in a chair or on a couch and just bend your knee as much as possible while you have your foot pushing against the couch. And for isometrics, you want to do around 3 to 5 seconds of pushing as hard as you humanly can. Then you rest for around 3 seconds and you repeat that cycle 3 times over. So you push 3 times for 3 to 5 seconds in total. Yeah. So those are going to be very, very useful, and you can actually use those for all your muscles. So as I said, for your biceps, you can try to lift a table up that's too heavy for you, and you just push as hard as you can. It's going to be very, very effective. If you do still enjoy, it's for more advanced people usually. So if you want to keep your training simple, just do the regular exercises. Train as heavy. A big issue with at-home training is going to be that you don't train heavy. That's pretty much the biggest issue. Some people in the gym still don't train heavy enough, but especially for home workouts, people don't train heavy at all. So my tip would be to stay somewhere around the, let's say, 4 to 10 rep range. It's going to be a good general guideline for beginners. And to just, if you can do 10 reps with an exercise, let's say to give you an example, if you can do 10 reps, if you would get $1 million, if you got those 10 reps, you should be going heavier. So that's going to be a general rule, so that you don't train with a low intensity, which is what you don't want. So just make sure you actually go heavy if you can. So if you can do 10 reps, just go heavier. Since that's going to make your training, it's going to keep your training the most as effective as it could be. Something else for, you could train all your muscles isometrically pretty much. So you could just try to think of the joint action. So for example, your biceps, they obviously bend your elbow. So just make sure for the isometric exercise that you challenge elbow flexion, which is this movement. So you would just have a lot of resistance and just push as hard as you can. And you could apply that to all other muscles. So for example, your triceps, they extend the elbow. So just apply a lot of resistance. So for example, you could put your hand against the wall and just press as hard as you can. That's going to challenge your triceps. And you can apply that to all muscles. So those are my tips for at-home workouts. I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'll answer them. You can also leave video ideas, questions that I can make videos about in the comments. And I might reply to them and make videos on them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.